Hey everyone, and welcome to What If Disney World. I'm Stevie.
And I'm Amy.
Today we're going to share our typical strategy for a day in EPCOT.
EPCOT is enormous, and so our strategy is a blend of trying to get on rides during lower wait times and trying to save steps to conserve our energy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Your feet will thank you if you do this, because EPCOT is always our biggest walking day. So make sure you have some good shoes and well rested to be ready for a long day at EPCOT.
Yeah. And just like with other parks, we like to utilize early entry for EPCOT. If you don't know what that is, early entry is for Disney resort guests to enter the park 30 minutes early. This helps you get a jump start on the day and take advantage of lower crowds and lower wait times. EPCOT opening varies, but it's usually either 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. So early entry would then be either 8:30 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. respectively. Be sure to check the park hours before you go. But before we even get to early entry time, a unique thing about EPCOT that we should add here is that the new and awesome roller coaster, Guardians of the Galaxy, does not currently have a standby line at the moment. That can change at any time, but right now you can only ride this via virtual queue or purchasing individual Lightning Lane. If this ends up changing to a standby line, that's going to dramatically change our EPCOT strategy because we'd be rope dropping that. But at the moment, we get in at 7 a.m. and either try for a virtual queue or a Lightning Lane. The virtual queue is free, but it's kind of a gamble whether you're going to get it or not. The individual Lightning Lane, you do pay per person that's going to ride the ride. But we kind of like it because we're able to purchase it for a certain time slot. The virtual queue is a boarding group that's called, and you really have no control over when your boarding group is called. You might be on the opposite end of the park. And so we like to choose a time slot, and we aim for about 30 minutes to 1 hour after park opening so that it fits in our park touring strategy, which we'll talk about more and you'll see later.
So we like to get to EPCOT about 30 minutes before early entry. That way we have time to get through security and enter the park. And when you enter for early entry, you will be able to head to different areas to wait until the official opening time.
And the unique thing, too, about EPCOT is that it has 2 entrances. So if you're staying at a Skyliner resort or you're walking from Boardwalk or Beach Club or Yacht Club or the Swan and Dolphin, you will enter through the International Gateway, and that will take you close to France first. So you can go ahead and line up and do Remy first. But if you're driving or coming from the bus or the monorail, you're going to enter in the front of the park. So you're going to have a different touring strategy at that point. We typically stay at the Polynesian since that's our DVC home resort. And so we travel to EPCOT via the monorail. And honestly, it's my favorite way because the monorail takes you actually through the park a little bit before it goes and stops at the station to let you off. So it gets you like super hyped for your day because you get to have the sneak peek at EPCOT before it's open. It's really fun. Anyways, when we enter, we like to head towards Connection Cafe. There's a covered area you can wait under, and you have a straight line to Test Track to go ride that first. And you're right next to Connections Cafe and Eatery, which, pro tip, have somebody wait with the kids right there while you're waiting for early entry, and somebody else goes in and you can get some of the Liège waffles that are really delicious or a Starbucks coffee to eat and drink while you're waiting for early entry.
And then with opening, we head right for Test Track. It should be nearly a walk-on as long as you're towards the front of the crowd during the early entry time. We absolutely love this ride. It's a lot of fun. And when you come out and get that blast of wind in your face, that wakes you up and says, hey,
Woo! Yeah.
We're here at EPCOT. And
Wake
it's a lot
up.
of fun.
Nothing like that to wake you up in the morning. And this is a ride that we have to do rider switch on because the littlest ones can't ride. If you don't know what rider switch is, we talk about that more in another video. We can link below time-saving strategies at Disney. But during rider switch, one of us will take the kids to this really great, cute little playground that's right next to Test Track.
Then after Test Track, we head to Norway and ride Frozen. It should still be early entry time, and the wait shouldn't be too long. This is, for us, not the most exciting ride, but the kids are super pumped and love it. And the theming of this area and the ride is a lot of fun.
And then once you've ridden that, while in Norway, also stop at the Kringla Bakery. This is a Norwegian bakery, and they have this wonderful frozen coffee called Viking coffee. You can get it either alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and it's so delicious. That's a real treat in the morning. And they also have really delicious treats and pastries. They have lefse. They have this thing called school bread, which is like a cardamom spiced bread with coconut and filled with custard. And they have other pastries too. So that's a really good little spot for a little breakfast treat. So now it might be around official park opening time, and you have already knocked out 2 major attractions, which is great. Anna and Elsa also have a meet and greet in Norway. So if that's something you're interested in, you could go ahead and do that now. The times are listed in the My Disney Experience app, but they usually start the meet and greet shortly after park opening time.
So now you can start heading back towards the front of the park. We typically skip Mexico at this point, but we come back to it later because the Three Caballeros ride is something we enjoy doing. It usually keeps a low wait time, so we can come back later in the day and hop on that and ride.
And depending on the timing, it might be about time for you to ride Guardians with your individual Lightning Lane or your boarding group if you did it that way. So if it is, go ahead and head back down, pass back by Test Track, and ride Guardians. If it's not quite time, you can ride Spaceship Earth because that's kind of close by too, or you can stop in a shop or get some Joffrey's coffee to pass the time. You'll notice that we skipped Mission Space. That was not an accident. We didn't forget about that. That is not included in our perfect day because it can cause some motion sickness, but some people probably really like to ride it, and that might be in their perfect day. So if you ride Guardians, that would also be a rider switch ride. And you can take the kids either back to the playground by Test Track because that's close by, or Joffrey's has these ginormous donuts that the kids really like to snack on. So there's a lot of little things to do close by. If you are going to ride Spaceship Earth, don't ride it if it's a long wait, because sometimes around park entry time, Spaceship Earth can get a really long wait because it's the first thing that people come to and they just go ahead and ride that, and it can get this really long wait. But later in the day, it's a walk-on. It's like a 5-minute wait. So if it's a short wait, you can go ahead and ride it. If it's a long wait, wait until later in the day. We'll talk about that later.
So we keep heading around the park in this direction and get to the Nemo ride. This has a nice aquarium inside and a play area for the kids. The Nemo ride's a bit meh in our opinion, but it doesn't usually have a long wait, so it's easy to just hop on and ride. Turtle Talk with Crush is right there, and it's super popular. But once again, it wasn't necessarily our favorite, so we usually skip it. But if you want to do that, Turtle Talk, he interacts with the crowd and talks with you, and so it is a pretty neat thing to do if you're interested in that.
And then after we've done the Nemo aquarium area, we head to one of my absolute favorite places in all of Walt Disney World, the Land Pavilion. This will probably be close to around lunchtime, and so you can either go ahead and eat lunch, or you can ride Soarin' or Livin' with the Land before lunch, just depending on the timing. We really like to eat at Sunshine Seasons. It's a quick service place. It has a lot of different options. It's kind of like a cafeteria style, but it has a lot of good healthy options too that we really enjoy. Like for the kids, there's this great little fruit and cheese option. It's a nice big area with a lot of indoor seating. So if it's rainy or hot or cold, it gets you inside and a nice, comfortable place to sit and eat. Garden Grill is also in the Land Pavilion. That's a character meal. It's a table service restaurant with Mickey, Pluto, Chip, and Dale. It's got really good food, but we find Epcot has so much great food. We want to eat a little light lunch, and we want to save room to eat around the world later in the day.
Oh, yeah, we got plenty of things to eat as we move through the afternoon.
Right.
So make sure before you leave, ride Soarin' if you do that before lunch or after, because it's not typically a very long wait. It's a lot of fun, but it is also another ride to do rider switch on. So the person that is waiting for their turn can take the young ones on Living with the Land. Both of these rides are inside and right there close next to each other. So make sure to do that before you leave.
Then when we're done with that, we head up to the Imagination Pavilion. This is where the Figment ride is. If you've heard of Figment, the purple dragon, this is where he lives. And this is a really silly and fun ride, and our kids love it. It hardly ever has a wait, so it's a good one to ride in the middle of the day because it's not a long wait time. And it's a bit dated, but it's really fun and silly, and it makes us all smile. So we like to do that. There's also a Mickey meet and greet in this area that hardly ever has a wait time. He's in his classic black and red, and so it's a really great way to meet Mickey. And right outside of this, there's these fountains with the jumping water that the kids really like to watch and try to catch the water with their hands. That's a fun little place to stop.
So now it's time to head through the World Showcase. We start there heading by Canada and go all the way around. The gardens and the water are really beautiful in Canada. There's also a band that plays nearby. It's also fun to stop and listen and watch.
And I'll add here that you can spend as much or as little time in each country as you want. There are specialized performers, there's specialized shops, there's special foods in each country. So research ahead of time what you might like and what you might want to focus on. We're going to highlight our favorite things to do in some of the countries, but research ahead of time and find what you think your family might like. Also, Epcot has 4 different festivals through the year: the Festival of the Arts, the Flower and Garden Festival, the Food and Wine Festival, and the Festival of the Holidays. And so depending on which festival is going on during your visit, there's going to be special activities and special food for those festivals. And so you can research and see if there's some of that you want to incorporate in your day.
So as we keep moving along, we head to the UK Pavilion. And this is a place where you can meet Alice or Mary Poppins. If that's important to you, you can check the times in the My Disney Experience app and see when they'll be out. There's also a band that plays and gift shops here. So there's a lot to do in this UK Pavilion.
Then we head to France, and here it is definitely worth making a stop at the Léal's Bakery for a pastry. This place is like authentic French pastries. You can actually eat lunch here. We've done that before. You can eat breakfast here, or you can just stop and get a snack. It's delicious. Aurora and Belle also meet in the France area, so if that's important to you or your little one, you can check the My Disney Experience app for those times. And the France Pavilion is where the Remy ride is. Now, this wait time can get kind of dramatically high some days. On super crowded days, it's going to be really high, but sometimes it's not as high. When I've looked at the Thrill Data website, there typically is this dip in wait times around the 3 to 4 o'clock hour. So if you can time your visit around then, that would be a good time to try to go and see if you can get a lower wait time. Now for us, we've done Remy multiple times. To us, it's kind of skippable. It's not our favorite. It's not our kids' favorite. And so if it's a high wait time, we're going to skip it. But if this is your first trip to Epcot, or you've never been on Remy and you really want to go, or it's your favorite ride, then you might want to either rope drop it or do it during early entry. That's just going to cause a lot more steps if you're entering from the front of the park. Or you might want to consider buying Genie Plus and trying to get a lightning lane for Remy, because then that's going to allow you to ride it without waiting in a super long line.
We then continue and make our way around the World Showcase, and we just kind of eat and snack for the rest of the day. We head to the Morocco Pavilion. That's next. It's a really beautiful pavilion. Then we make our way over to Japan. This is fun to walk around in. In Japan, you can get those kakigori snow cones. They're very, very good. Japan also has amazing drummers that are out and performing that you can stop and listen to. It's just a beautiful pavilion to walk around in.
So then after Japan, we head to America. And in America, in the Rotunda building, there's the Voices of Liberty that perform. If you can catch this, the Voices of Liberty is an amazingly talented a cappella group. They sing so beautifully. It just like brings tears to my eyes every time. It's amazing, amazing to see them perform.
And here in America, there's the Regal Eagle Barbecue Quick Service. So stop there if it's time to eat and get you some delicious barbecue. There's also this funnel cake stand that, I'm just saying, is also delicious.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Kind of a sucker for funnel cakes.
Sucker for funnel cakes. Okay. The next country is Italy, and Italy has a really fun performer named Sergio. He's engaging, he juggles, he does all these really silly, fun acts and gets the audience involved. It's so fun to watch if you can catch that. And here I highly recommend the tiramisu popsicle. It's at the little donkey cart on the side of the Italy pavilion. And it's kind of pricey, but it is so worth it. If you're a tiramisu fan, it is delicious. And just spend some time looking around in Italy. The architecture is really beautiful there too. In Italy is one of the most popular table service restaurants, Via Napoli. It's a pizza place, and people just rave about their pizza. We ate here last year, and we were a little bit underwhelmed. It wasn't our favorite.
It was good, but it just wasn't as special as I thought the hype made it seem.
Right.
Well, then we head over to Germany, and the absolute must-stop here is the caramel store.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the caramel corn, there's caramel butter bars that I love. I mean, all this Werther's original caramel, and it is just delicious.
Yeah, my favorite thing to get there is the gingerbread sandwich, where it's 2 gingerbread cookies filled with buttercream and drizzled with caramel. It's enormous, and so you'd think like, oh, I'll just take a couple of bites of this, and then before you know it, you've eaten the whole thing.
It's gone.
And it's gone, and you're sad about it because it's so good.
Germany also has great architecture. This is one of the places I really like walking around and looking. It's got a Christmas shop here, really good food at the booths and their permanent quick service place like Summerfest. It's just really cool pavilion.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite pavilions, probably because of the caramel store, but
Probably.
for other things too. Then next you'll come to the Refreshment Outpost. There's really not much here. There's some drums for the kids to hit on or something, but I'll make a note for parents that here you can buy just a regular old plain hot dog. And there's slushies and Dole Whip here too. It's kind of hard as a parent of young kids that are picky eaters to find things that your kids might want to eat around the world because they don't want to branch out and eat a bratwurst, right? They just want a plain hot dog. So this is a place where you can get your kid just a plain hot dog. So just wanted to make a note of that.
That's a good point. And as we make our way around, we're hitting the China Pavilion next, which is really impressive to see. Then we're back at Norway, which we've already experienced. If you didn't get to the Anna and Elsa meet and greet earlier in the day, now would be a good time to stop and do that.
Yep. And now is when you can head back to the Mexico Pavilion that we kind of skipped over in the morning. You go inside. It's really lovely. And you can ride the 3 Caballeros ride. That one usually has little to no wait. So it's a good time to go ahead and ride that. And right outside the Mexico Pavilion, like if you're facing the Mexico Pavilion off to the right, there's a Donald meet and greet there where he's in a sombrero and a Mexican poncho. It's really cute to meet him there. And now you can decide if you want to stay and watch the fireworks or if you are ready to leave the park, kind of depending on how tired y'all are. The fireworks are typically about 9 p.m.-ish, but check the My Disney Experience app for times when you're there. And the cool thing about the fireworks at Epcot versus like at Magic Kingdom is there's kind of no bad place to watch the fireworks in Epcot. You can be anywhere around the lake in the World Showcase and have a good view of the fireworks.
And so on our way out, we will stop by Spaceship Earth because it has this Beacons of Light show that is pretty amazing to watch. They have all the lights on the big ball, and it just, the way that they've programmed that, it's really beautiful. Has music to it. It's a lot of fun to watch.
It's so mesmerizing, and they change it for the different festivals. They'll change the music and the light show, so it's different each time you go, which is really special. And now, of course, this is our perfect day, right? But a lot of days don't go perfectly according to plan. So this is a strategy that we have used multiple times, and it typically works out really well. But sometimes a ride goes down, or there's some kind of fluke that gets thrown into your day. So you might have to pivot and change your plans. And if crowds are high, if you're going during like Christmas week or Thanksgiving week, you might want to buy Genie Plus. We typically find that we don't need Genie Plus during our Epcot day, but if you are going during a very crowded time, wait times are going to be higher, and Genie Plus might be really helpful on those days.
Well, thanks for listening and watching. If you're interested in another strategy, we have an Animal Kingdom video that we just put out as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, keep dreaming.